Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/PettyRevenge. In today's episode, neighbors used my property as their own. Paid for new fence. Hold the elevator, please. Roommate won't be considerate about noise, so I keep disconnecting the Wi-Fi. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Neighbors used my property as their own. Paid for new fence. I recently bought a house and have been having some work done before I move in. It was empty on the market for about 6 or 8 months before I bought it. One morning I got a call from my contractor asking me about moving the cars in the driveway, and of course I had no idea what he was talking about. I hadn't moved in yet. I left my job site and drove nearly a half hour to get there. As soon as I arrived, the people on the east side of me were walking toward the cars. I asked if they were their cars and they said yes. They told me that they had been parking there for a few months with permission from the owners. I informed them that I was the new owner and they can't park there any longer. We went back and forth, and with the intention of being a good neighbor and trying to show some goodwill, I agreed to allow them to park there for a few more weeks until I move in, with the agreement that they would move them by 6 a.m. every morning. The rest of the week went by without incident. The contractor called me about scheduling a walkthrough on Saturday, and we set a time for early afternoon. When I arrived, there were 4 cars in the driveway, and nowhere to park. The only on-street parking is 2 blocks away. I called them and asked them to move their vehicles, reminding them of our agreement. After 20 minutes, they finally came out and moved them. Speaking with them, they claimed to have misunderstood and thought our agreement only referred to weekdays and not weekends. I corrected them and moved on. Sunday morning, I grabbed a trailer and loaded some furniture to take over and store in the garage. Once again, there were cars in the driveway. I called them and got VM. I texted and said they had until a tow truck could arrive to get them moved. No answer. I called a tow company. 45 minutes later, 2 tow trucks showed up, backed in and hooked up to the cars. All of a sudden, the neighbors were home. They ran out to stop their cars from being towed, and it ended up costing them a little over $300 to get them unhooked. I called my contractor and asked if he knew someone who could put in a driveway gate, and he did. I let the neighbors know that they could no longer use my driveway. On Wednesday, I get a call from the gate installer, telling me that there are cars in the driveway. I called them and said tow trucks are on the way. They moved. The gate was installed and I went by to pick up the opener that evening. The neighbor husband came out to confront me, and I opted to just call the PD and deal with it legally. That Saturday, I went by to accept an outdoor furniture delivery and check on things when I noticed a towel beside the pool and a small kid's flotation device. My initial thought was that I just hadn't noticed it before, so I wrote it off and threw them both in the trash. On Saturday, the movers arrived with everything and we began moving things in. About 7 p.m., my daughter and I left to go grab some dinner, arriving back at the house around 9:30 p.m. The neighbors were in my pool. They were hanging out and using my furniture. When I opened the door and began raising hell, they told the kids to go to the house and the children ran to a corner of our fence and just walked through. They had cut out the privacy fence so it could be removed and had been using the pool at their leisure for who knows how long. Again, I called the police and filed a complaint. The dad was arrested for trespassing, DPP, and an outstanding warrant, and the oldest boy, 20M, for an outstanding warrant. I replaced the fence with a new one, because they had destroyed the posts, runners and pickets by removing and reinstalling the panel. Small Claims awarded me the total cost of 83 foot of 8 privacy fence, which came out to $3,800. The following Monday morning around 5 a.m., their cars were parked in the street, where there's no street parking, so I made a phone call. They were gone when I left at 7 a.m. I haven't been paid yet, but I did notice a for rent sign in their yard this morning, so that's just as good. Good riddance. Edit/update. One. For those of you suggesting a security system, one was installed that next week, along with 6 cameras around the house, a Ring doorbell, and a fence around the pool itself to keep the dogs and my grandson out of it. I'll be closing and covering the pool in the next few weeks. Met the owner of the house yesterday evening. The house will be empty by the end of the week. They were evicted for non-payment of rent, likely due to tow charges, and the husband not working because he was incarcerated, where he remains. Warrant was for back child support. Wife apologized and claimed that she was told they had permission to use the pool, they didn't. The material for the fence was purchased through my company account. I'm a structural engineer and commercial construction manager for a large local GC. Only 2 posts had to be replaced and a handful of runners. The rest was just 8-foot 1-inch x 6 1/2 pressure-treated pickets, which cost me $2.60 per stick, x 210 pickets purchased. The rest was labor and fasteners. So, altogether, about $900 for material and stain. $150 for a dumpster, and the rest went toward labor to finish it on a weekend. Fun fact, I'm also a property investor/flipper. Been in construction, commercial, civil, industrial and residential for 35 years. Not my first fence, nor my first asshole neighbor. Before the paint experts jump on board, I know how long I have to wait before pressure washing and staining the fence. The petty was only my twisting the knife by having their cars towed from the street, when they weren't affecting me at all. You dodged the worst neighbors ever. At first I thought they were inconsiderate, now I'm convinced they are just trashy. We need a vigilante to go around and make life harder for inconsiderate people. Like Dexter, except he reports people to the IRS for tax fraud. How ridiculous, the level of entitlement some people have is astounding in all the worst ways. What a debacle. You're lucky they didn't get hurt on your property and try to sue you for it. I wouldn't be surprised if someone could destroy a fence, trespass on someone's property, get hurt and then successfully sue the owner of said property. Never let people use your stuff. Period. But Joe, who lived there, didn't have a problem. Well, Joe doesn't live here anymore, and I am telling you no. If you do it again, we'll involve the cops/courts. This. 100%. You cannot trust people just because they happen to be close to you geographically. When OP relented and let them use the driveway for a while longer, I was like, no. Don't do that. Thankfully they didn't own the house, definitely dodged a bullet there. Well, maybe more bullets. The driveway is one thing, and still annoying and wrong of them. But to come into your yard and use your furniture and pool? What made them think that was okay? I guess because the pool was still being maintained and nobody was there, they decided it was free to use. I can't begin to try to understand some people and their thought process. In a neighborhood with small houses, I've seen neighbors park in presently vacant houses to keep potential squatters at bay. OP. One thing to say, cameras inside and out is part of a security system for your home and the storage being in the cloud. A few cameras along with a no trespassing sign would make anyone who violates your home have a very bad day. On a side note, a parrot makes a very good burglar alarm and a burglar's worst nightmare. They do not like intruders in their space, have a squawk that can be heard by all, and you do not want to even know what happens when that beak is used. As a parrot owner, I disagree with getting parrots. They're a lot of work as pets. They're like having a 3-year-old that never grows up. They typically need 8+ hours of social interaction a day because they are social animals. It really only works for me because I work from home. Mine are also super shy around new people and will get really quiet and hide if possible. Bro doesn't sound petty at all, sounds fair. Glad all turned out okay for you. The petty was having them towed the last time, just for shits and giggles. Did you install cameras? I def have one pointing at the pool, but sounds like they got out of Dodge. I hope you have security cameras because I'm sure they're going to try to cause you more pain. Hold the elevator, please. I work on the 11th floor of an office building with 3 elevators. The other day, as I rounded into the elevator lobby at lunchtime, I saw one cab open its doors and a food delivery person step into it. I was a few steps behind, but not too far. The delivery guy and I made eye contact as I got closer, but he made no effort to hold the door or press the open door button and let me get on with him. The doors closed just before I got within arm's reach and I had to wait. It wasn't a long wait, the next elevator opened its door about 20 to 30 seconds later. No one else got on. I punched the 11 button and rode alone up to my floor. A few seconds after I walked off the elevator and started down the hall to my office entrance, I heard a chime behind me. The first elevator door opened, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw the same food delivery guy walking out. His elevator must have made a stop or two along the way. I'm now a few steps ahead of him. We're the only office on our floor, so he must be delivering to one of my coworkers. Our office uses key fobs for security. I scanned mine to unlock the door and stepped into the office lobby, then made sure to look back and make eye contact with him as the door closed and locked behind me. My favorite part of the story is that it's a glass office door, so he must have seen me stroll through the lobby and start down the hallway as he stood there. I smiled widely when I heard the office doorbell ring. Even more when it rang the second time a short while later. This is the content I come here for. Just delightfully petty. Me too. I felt an instant karmic bond with this OP that reason cannot define. There is a lot of good stuff on this sub, some less than petty, some pretty cruel. This is the definition of the sub. It should be posted as a sticky. The definition of petty. Amazing. Also security, you were doing a service by not letting an unauthorized person into a secure floor. Badge access to an office is usually accompanied by lots of reminders about no piggybacking. OP was simply following procedure. Revenge served hot and fresh. So refreshing. This is my kind of pettiness. I am typically considerate of those around me because, why not, and it doesn't pay to be nasty without provocation. But, don't give me a reason. Way to go, OP, and good description. Even if he had let you on the lift, policy might have stated that he needed to be let in by an authorized personnel, and that may not have been you, or anyone you sit near. Even management are not allowed to just let someone in on their card in some places I've worked. This is such a refreshing pretty revenge compared to the person the other day that shredded their coworkers' airline tickets simply because there was a rumor that they were lazy, but otherwise they never interacted with each other and didn't even work in the same department. Roommate won't be considerate about noise. So I keep disconnecting the Wi-Fi. My roommate has always had bad habits, not cleaning up her messes, over a dozen dishes in her side of sink at any given time, sweeps dirt from her room into common areas and not use the dustpan to scoop it up and throw in the trash, never announces guests so Eve encountered random men in the living room alone, late on bills, etc. However, lately she's taken to suddenly play her loud screechy, traditional Indian music. I mean, I'll come home from an early morning 8-hour shift at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., meaning I work anytime between 2:30 a.m. to 4:30 a.m., often, and every time within 10 minutes of my arrival, she'll start playing her shitty-ass music so loud, I can hear it beyond my noise-canceling headphones and my own music trying to drown it out. She'll also play her TV shows so loudly, ITLL rumble the walls. She did this most days till 2 a.m., no matter how many times Eve told her to at least turn it down or that I have to sleep or I would like to nap after a graveyard shift, she'll turn it down for an HR or two, then turn it all the way back up. Well, I finally got fed up and tried looking up ways to be petty. Wi-Fi scramblers are illegal, but I wanted to make sure she couldn't her electronics when I needed to sleep. Finally, I realized. I can control the Wi-Fi from my provider app. Roommate works from home on her comp and needs the Wi-Fi. I have a personal hotspot. Oh, I let the fun begin. So about a week ago, I decided to connect my TV to my mobile hotspot so that I could listen to my music or watch my shows, as she started blasting her music again almost as soon as I got home, and convinced she does it on purpose, by the way. I open the app, restart the Wi-Fi, and her music stutters and halts. The sudden silence was glorious. I turn on my music and she texts if my Wi-Fi is disconnected. I act like nothing's wrong and text her a no, or else my music would stop since it's my TV on the Wi-Fi. She texts back, oh okay. I simply laughed to myself. I repeated this for about 30 minutes before she got fed up with the spotty Wi-Fi and left the apartment. Eve's been doing this now for the past week whenever I hear her start her music or shows, when I think about it while at work or getting groceries, and it's been hilarious. She says it impedes her work, but again, I act like nothing's wrong because finally I get silence and can actually sleep whenever I need to. She can go to a Starbucks or library if she needs Wi-Fi that bad, IDGF anymore. You'll even restart the modem a dozen times right before bed so that she gets fed up and doesn't try to blast her shit at 2 a.m. This makes it worth it to deal with all her other bad habits because knowing she's angry ASF makes me happy. Should have listened to me and been considerate. Another option, get a cheap Wi-Fi router and set it up to have the same Wi-Fi network name and password. Connect it to nothing. Then change the name and password of the real one. You could also get a gaming type router, fake the real set and throttle the connection to super slow speeds and possibly set time limits. E.g. no Wi-Fi for her between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. Connect your devices to the now hidden SSID real network and enjoy your full speeds. This is genius. Fingers crossed she decides to move out and you get a better roommate. If you can access the router's admin page via mobile browser or a computer browser, you can block specific devices by their unique MAC address. This way, her devices will get blocked, and you can continue using your own Wi-Fi, that's presumably faster than a cell hotspot. If the place is quiet until you get home from work and then turns on / up her music, then she is doing it on purpose. Look for another roommate as this one is a loser. Never mess with people who handle food, can control the Wi-Fi. Don't disconnect the Wi-Fi. Put QoS on it and drop her bandwidth to 5 kilobits per second, make her go through internet at modem speed, or just modify DNS response time to 1 second, then you won't be suspected of doing crap. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.